A quick note before we get into the episode. Oversharing is a podcast for entertainment purposes only. It is not a medical podcast and does not constitute medical or psychological advice. Always seek the advice of your physician or mental health professional. Hello and welcome back to Oversharing. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Dr. Naomi Bernstein.
We are back. It is Monday morning, fresh off of Mother's Day weekend. How are you?
I'm good. Mother's Day was really fun. I know it's hit or miss for some people. Mm-hmm. I think I'm in the hit, I'm in the hit group.
Category, okay.
I'm in the hit category. Yeah. I feel all the love. I got some really cute cards in the morning. Maddie gave me 2 cards that were really funny. I'll have to show you
2
them.
2 cards. Wow.
Yes. She gave me one
game.
Yeah. She gave me one the day before. She couldn't help it. She needed to give it to me. And then she gave me one on the day of. And she had 2 categories, things I take and things I give. And then the take category had bullet points with that
you take or she takes?
That's things that she takes and things that she gives.
Okay. So
in the take category, it was time, money, patience, anger management.
Oh, that's cute.
It was really cute.
That's very astute for a 11-year-old.
It was really cute. I was like, did you make that up or did someone tell you that? And then in the I give category, it just said love.
Oh,
it was really cute.
Very describes, I guess, motherhood, right?
Yes. Yeah, totally. So that was cute. And the other one was really funny. Also, she wrote something like, I'm so sorry that you have to deal with such a bratty, ungrateful,
Did mom write this card?
Rude child like Lila.
That's funny.
So the whole, the first sentence, I'm like, don't say that about yourself. You're not those things. So I got a good chuckle. Yeah, she gave me a couple.
She's quick.
Yeah,
I love it.
She's quick-witted. She was very funny. So that made me laugh. And we used Resort Pass, which is a really cool service. There's an app that goes with it, or you can just go to the website and basically you can get a day pass at any hotel in your area or wherever you want to travel to. And we went to this really awesome hotel. We got a cabana and they had what hotel? It was more for the kids than for me. It was called the Hilton Anatole in Dallas.
Okay.
If anyone's looking for a fun day with the kids, they had a lazy river, they had water slides, they had a little kids play area, they had cornhole and ping pong and a whole grassy area with games and poolside service.
Yeah.
And it was fun because we were our kids are old enough where I could just kind of let them go.
Right.
And
so it's good for you too, right?
Yes. It was good for us. It was good for them. We can spend time together, but also they can kind of do their own thing. It was nice to just lay back and get poolside service. Yeah. It was a really good time.
That's great. Yeah.
The interesting thing for me is, I don't know if you can see it, and those of you that are on YouTube, but I'm wearing this really funky heart monitor thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a box that's taped to your chest with these weird little wires coming out of it.
Yeah.
But you're allowed to wear it around, it can get splashed, but can't get in the water.
Let them know you're okay.
I'm okay. I'm okay. It's just a precaution. I went to a cardiologist. There was a little bit of a funky thing. And she was like, let's just take a week-long reading.
Okay.
But your reaction there, so I wore it to the pool.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty big. I didn't realize it was that big.
Yeah. It's I forget that I'm wearing it. It's pretty comfortable for the most part. So I forget that I'm wearing it. But then when I'm interacting with people, they're looking at me like I'm about to die. They're and then they kind of just realize that they're making a face. And
do they ask?
No, not really. I could just see kind of their eyes moving down, moving back and forth and looking. So it's just interesting. And then part of me was I could probably wear a shirt and even the whole week. I wear a lot of these kind of shirts, V-neck or U-neck and
tee. Yeah. A U-neck tee. Yeah.
And it's warm here. So part of me is thinking, should I hide this thing? It seems to be making other people uncomfortable.
It does look a little bit like you left the hospital and you forgot to take it off because like there's nothing else that would give that, but it also kind of reminds me like I've seen people and I kind of feel the same way when I see them and maybe that's wrong. And I don't know if they notice, but like if I see someone with like a diabetes, like blood sugar monitor or something like that, I'll kind of like notice.
You notice it.
Yeah.
Right.
And even that's not on their chest though. This is like a little more intense.
Yeah. And that it's kind of like everyone knows what that is, I think, or most people know what that is. So they're kind of like, oh, that person probably has diabetes. It was just an interesting experience the whole week being like, should I cover this? Like, even when I'm working with patients, I'm like, do I need to now address this? Like, it's not a big thing, but maybe they're worried. And like, now we have to have a conversation about it. So I mostly just wear whatever I'm going to wear. And
do they ask?
No, nobody's asked. I think kind of like sometimes my mic can, like this,
right?
Like kind of covers it and then maybe just pops out for a second. It's not worth a whole conversation, but it's just interesting to notice other people noticing and almost noticing them get distracted for a second in the conversation that I'm having with them and then kind of come back.
Right.
But if I notice someone really noticing it, I'll address it, but it's no big deal. It's just, it looks worse than it is.
Totally. And I remember when we were in 9th grade volleyball, one of my friends had like a heart monitor that she was wearing.
Okay.
It was funny because we were like so bad at volleyball. Like we lost every game within every match, but
that's a feat in and of itself, losing every single game within every match.
Kind of impressive actually. But you know what? We had so much fun.
Aww.
But I remember my friend, like, because I think she had like a heart issue when she was like a kid. She, I guess, had for that week also had a heart monitor, but we made fun of her for it like the entire time. I think she took it like, you know what I mean? She's really making fun of herself, but that's, I guess, the benefit of being in your 40s rather than 14.
Right. Yeah, no one's going to make fun of you. It's true. Although there is something nice about that too, just kind of calling it out and like having the conversation and making fun of it and moving on.
Yeah. And the joke, I think, was like, we're so bad at volleyball. We have like this really horrible team where we also have like a girl who's just like wearing a heart monitor, like whose heart might go out at any second if we try too hard. So
like give a girl on crutches right on the court.
Yeah.
One with a heart monitor.
But I'm glad you're okay. But yeah, I'm sure it probably may. I mean, and again, this looks like, it does just look like you're kind of wearing electronic equipment on your body, but I can only imagine it probably gives you a sense of like, what if you had like something much more intense, on you, or any kind of like side effect of a physical illness. Like some people lose their hair if they're, I'm sure that's like they're going chemo or something like that. Like things that, you want to think no one notices, but they do. And like how to deal with that is probably an interesting topic in itself.
Yeah. And it was a moment of gratitude in a lot of ways that I know that it's not like I'm getting this constant reminder of something that I'm worried about or like having this issue around. I mean, look, they're doing it. I'm pretty sure it's nothing, but like, it's definitely not something that I'm stressed about. But I can imagine if there is something that just is stressful and then people keep noticing it, even if just with their eyes, it can feel like it just takes you out of your day. So, yeah. I mean, look, it was an introspective experience on the smallest level. I know there's people dealing with bigger things, but sometimes it's nice to get that, to have an experience where like I can now better understand how someone else might feel in this situation. Like for me, that feels like a moment where now I can connect better with someone on the other side of this. So, yeah. So that was the day. It was awesome. Thank you to Resort Pass. What a time. It was a perfect Mother's Day. But yeah, we'll definitely want to address all the people out there who struggle around Mother's Day, whether it's if you've lost a mother or even, I don't know how you dealt with that day, that might've been a little bit of an annoying kind of day
or if you have
you.
a complicated relationship with your mother.
Yes.
Or, it's kind of like any of those, it's like a Valentine's Day. I think it's one of those things where like, if you're in it, you're kind of like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
And if you're not, you're like, it makes you feel maybe worse than a regular day.
Yep.
Which is fine,
Fine.
like that's
it's just
again,
a day.
It's a day, you get through the day. Maybe it's not your favorite day. I had a nice day. Played tennis. It was great.
Oh, great. Are you getting good? I know you've been taking lessons.
I thought I was getting good. And then I played Mike and he won't let me like win at all, or like not even win, but like like he doesn't like playing with me because I'm so much. I thought I was pretty good because I guess I'm playing against people who are also kind of suck.
Right.
And then I started playing against him, and he's just like every point. I'm like, all right, like I guess the game is 0 is love 60. Like you win again. Like I'm
He should
like,
play left-handed or something.
yeah, well, he's like, well, I want to practice too. I'm like, well, is it? I'm like, why not? He's like, maybe we should just rally.
Yeah, that's I agree with him. Probably better not to keep score. What's the point?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It was we're not the best opponents, but like I think we'd be good. I like doubles. I think doubles is a more fun game.
Did he
Personally.
play like in high school or something?
No, he took like lessons. I think when he was like a kid. He doesn't really play. He's like a tennis player's body though. He's like a large wingspan.
He could reach the entire. I feel like he could stand in the middle and almost like cover the entire court with his arms out.
He's got like a huge wingspan, and he's pretty athletic. He like he puts like I'm like, why are you putting a fucking spin on the ball? Like you're not playing like you're in the US Open.
Yes,
like,
we don't need spin. Yeah,
right.
I agree.
All right. Let's get into our show. Guys, if you have a voicemail, you can leave us a voicemail at 646-363-6294. We have one of those at the end of this episode. And then also, if you want to subscribe, people really were on your side on your, and you talked about a triggering incident on our latest subscription bonus episode, which came out earlier this month. And people really resonated with it or felt free. It was nice to read those comments. So if you want to know what we're talking about, you can subscribe on Apple or Spotify or anywhere you get your podcast. We do 2 bonus episodes a month. You get the episodes ad-free and a day early.
Yeah, quick note on that. I actually, because I'm not used to sharing that much, like, really ever, because I'm usually on the other side of it, I listened back to the episode and it was so interesting to listen back to myself. Even at the end when we're wrapping up, it was almost like we were just having a phone conversation where I was like, okay, all right, we're going to, talk to you later. And I was like, but one more thing.
Right.
I kept on like coming back at it. So I was just laughing at how like we were, trying to get off the phone. And then like, I kept like repeating kind of the same, like I was.
No, I get it. I think that's,
yeah.
Did you feel like you were in your own therapy session a little bit?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, or I just maybe felt like more like I was talking to you or someone like just about the situation. But it was just funny to listen. Like we were trying to end it, and I kept being like, "And that thing." It's like, all right, enough. You said that already.
If you want to watch Dr. Naomi Spiral, subscribe. Betchicist.com. You guys can watch us on YouTube. We're on YouTube now. So come see us in person, see our facial expressions. You get see Naomi's heart monitor.
See my heart monitor.
Yeah, all a special visual treat. Or you can join one of Dr. Naomi's groups if you want to see it in person, live. Well, not in person, but virtually live.
Yes. You can find me at naomibernstein.com. Come join a group. We'd love to have you.
Yes. Or finally, obviously, the lowest form of contact with us, email us, oversharing@betches.com. Let's get into it. We have a craft my text. It's a little long, but I enjoyed the context because we did say last time we need
a little more
context for crafting these texts. I'm enjoying this segment.
Yeah, so buckle up.
Buckle up. This one's a long one, but necessary. All right, I'll read it.
Okay.
Hi, Jordana and Dr. Naomi. Huge fan of the pod. I get so much out of your advice. It has changed the way I think, especially in handling moments of stress. This brings me to a scenario that I need help with. For context, I have known my friend, let's call her Danielle, since early college. We had the same major, a pretty small one for our school, and we're in all the same classes. We both even ended up being research assistants for the same professor. All this to say, we spent a lot of time together and ended up becoming very close personal friends. I will say that even before this triggering event, I wouldn't consider Danielle to be someone I would naturally gravitate towards for a friend. She leans very Tumblr girly and is pretty confrontational about even minor social justice causes, is not super social, didn't like going out in college like I did, etc. But we did find plenty of time to hang at each other's places, go to museums and other activities outside of our huge amount of time together at school. 2 years after college, I moved from our East Coast city to Northern California, and Danielle and I have stayed in touch pretty regularly since then. Updates on our lives, sending memes about our major and experiences, regular texts. It's been almost 10 years since we graduated, and I'm getting married in a couple months. It will be relevant later that the wedding is in the Midwest, near my and my fiance's families, and for Danielle, it would be a relatively short flight and a one-night stay at a hotel. Danielle and her boyfriend were invited, and I got her no RSVP just before the first texts were sent. And she's talking about the text that she's about to show us. For context, she had texted something nice to me about me just before I got the RSVP. All right. So how about do you want to be Danielle and I'll be
Sure.
the listener who's writing in?
Yeah, I'll be Danielle.
Okay. You're only being sweet to me because you can't come to my wedding. And then she does an eye emoji. I'm just kidding, but I am sad.
I've been putting it off because I didn't want it to be true. If one or both of us is going to travel to see each other, we deserve each other's full attention.
Damn, I have never heard that explanation for not coming to a wedding before. LOL, very bold.
I mean, me not knowing anyone there except you is also a portion of the consideration. The significant travel time, work scheduling, dropping a show I'm doing, all leading up to not getting to truly spend time with you, big old thumbs down. Keep in mind, I would do any of these things in a heartbeat for a whole weekend together. Just asked my boyfriend if he would be down for a California visit in the fall, and he said absolutely. He actually asked where you live first and confirmed it's not LA, then said absolutely.
I totally understand these considerations, but I feel like I'm too far behind the curtain on the decision. Could have said you had another wedding. Smiley face. You'd come if it were in California. Admit it.
Sure.
Okay, sure. It's first, how triggered? Then that's the end of these texts. And then she says, first, how triggered can I be? Like I said, we weren't exactly a match made in heaven friend-wise, and I'm honestly not upset that she can't come to my wedding, but I can't help but feel hurt by the radical transparency in her text about why she didn't want to spend the time and energy because we deserve each other's full attention and that it was a big ol' thumbs down. Okay. It just feels like such an inside thought, and I felt dejected afterwards to think that Danielle wouldn't treat me and the event with more respect, I guess. I tried to make it known that I thought her explanation went too far while still keeping it light. Okay, so that I mean, this is sort of like a part triggered, part
Yes.
craft my text. I validate triggering.
Yeah. Definitely triggering.
Yeah. Here's the thing, it's very honest.
Yes.
No one could accuse her of like being non-confrontational. Like she's very honest, which is, I guess, is a good thing to an extent.
I would be triggered, totally validate the triggered, but there's something refreshing that she didn't make up a bullshit excuse and blame it on money or I mean, she kind of blamed it on work, but what she really was saying was, this isn't going to be that fun for me. I'm not going to get that much out of it. And so therefore I will not be coming.
Right. Which, I mean, she's made it, the annoying thing, I mean, again, I appreciate the honesty because I think we would all have that thought, but to say it to her does feel like you're making an event that's not about you, all about you. And there's nothing in there that's like, I'm so happy for you that you're getting married. I know it's such a big day. Like I feel so sad to miss it.
Yes.
There's like almost like a there's almost like a whimsical glee in the way she's saying it. Like, of course I'm not going is sort of what she's saying.
Right. Why would I? This is so inconvenient for me.
Right.
And the other part that's triggering too, I think almost even more triggering because it just shows like I don't really care that much about you, is that the boyfriend actually asked where you lived first and confirmed it's not LA and then said absolutely.
Right. It's very, very self-centered. The entire text is like very self-centered. It's like, just don't say that part.
Yes.
Like just say, I asked him and he's down to he like is really into visiting you.
Yeah. I mean, maybe she was trying to be funny about some kind of disdain that he has for LA, but what it also conveys is like, he wouldn't come just to see you. He's basically, it's confirming that they just want a vacation and a spot that they like, that works for them.
Right. Which I agree is fine. I think like behind the scenes to have this discussion with your boyfriend is fine. Like we're thinking, like you get the invitation. You're like, are we going to go to this thing? We don't know anyone there. We have to take a flight. We're like friends, but we're not that close. Like it doesn't seem like it's worth it for us. Fine.
Right.
But that's not what you say. Like if you say, oh my God, like I would have loved to have come. Unfortunately, it's not going to work for, even if you just didn't have to give an excuse. It's
Yes.
not going to work for us. I feel, I'm so happy for you. I know it's such a big, like there's just nothing about the friend in any of this stuff.
Yes, I totally agree. Like I said, it's an interesting, almost like an ethical dilemma in some ways of like, we we always talk about like being honest in friendship and like talking about how you really feel. So in some ways, we're advising that I think just saying we can't make it is not lying. So that probably would be the way to go. But I do think this is coming to a head in this friendship for a reason. Like it's smoking out the bear of the friendship, which is that one of them.
Your friends of convenience. Almost.
Yes, you're friends for a good time and convenience, and that's it. There's
Right.
not a deeper. Part of why you go to someone's wedding is kind of like, I want to in like 15 years be like I was there at your wedding, or feel like there's a longevity, there's like a connection, like I was part of this very special moment in your life, and when you talk about it, like I was there, and we have that connection.
Right.
And she's clearly not interested in that deeper connection. Interesting. And I'm not trying to judge, but interesting that she says like Tumblr girly, whatever. It's not the most shocking thing,
right,
that it's not necessarily always about like having the deepest connection, or maybe it's just this particular friendship where you guys aren't clicking. And she's like, yeah, I think the listener has to decide if they want the same things out of this friendship.
That's a great point. I think when you mention like the way they met is like, again, it was like convenient. They happened to be in the same niche major. Like it's convenient to find a friend in that way, but it doesn't seem like they were really that integrated in other ways.
Right.
And so these are kind of like those instances where that comes to light. Well, we'll continue on, which I think now that we've established that, I think that does lead into the next part of this, and where we're going to help her craft a text. She says, flash forward a few weeks and Danielle is now proposing that she and her boyfriend come visit me and my, by then will be new husband this fall in California. And then we are going to read the next screenshot. So you can read what she says.
Yeah. So she writes, boyfriend and I want to take a trip at the end of September, and we're thinking maybe for part of it, we come visit you. I floated it to him when you and I were texting in March, and since then he's become hooked on the idea. If something about September comes up, he'll say, and do we still think we'll take that trip to said city? So I thought maybe it's time I let you in on the plans too.
Okay, then she writes, how do I respond to this? I'm still pretty miffed about the wedding debacle, and now she wants to come visit. Danielle's note about how she thought she'd let me in on her plans also feels very presumptuous. Like, of course you'll make time for me. I know you guys like to have an idea of how I would like to respond, and to be completely honest, I don't want to see her right now. She was transparent that she wasn't willing to put in the time and energy to come to the wedding, and it makes me feel like I'm entitled to not have the energy to spend on what would probably be an entire weekend dedicated to showing her around town. How do I reply to convey that I'm still hurt by what she said and set my boundaries about this trip? It sounds like they'll be coming out west anyway, but the trip to Northern California would be just to see us. Sorry for the long email. Hope you have all the context you need. Thank you so much in advance for the help in ranking my triggered and crafting my text. Love, Bewildered Betch.
So we both wrote something.
Yes.
I will say, I think it's important to know for her, maybe she's okay with this. She's not okay with this, obviously.
Who's her? Like the friend or her?
I'm saying maybe the listener can get to the point where she's kind of like, okay, we can have a friendship out of convenience, which means like I do what's convenient for me, you do what's convenient for you.
Right. If those happen to align, then we hang. And if they don't, if it's inconvenient for either one of us, we won't. Right.
Yes. I think she has to do some work. I guess what I want to say is I get the other side of this. I get the perspective of like, I'm going to take all this time off work. I'm going to come to your wedding. I'm barely going to get to see you because there's going to be 1 million people there. You're going to be preoccupied. It's not like I'm in the wedding party or your maid of honor and I'm going to be part of it. I'm just going to be like watching you. And to me, I'd rather spend time with you. So there is something there
Yeah.
that I think is reasonable to like, if I'm going to make this happen, I want to be able to actually spend time. So I just want to validate the other side on that.
Yeah.
The way she goes about it is pretty brutal.
I don't think either of us have an issue with her not attending the wedding. And neither does the listener, really. The listener doesn't seem to care that much that she's not attending the wedding. It's like entirely about her delivery, which does seem to speak to the way, again, like the way the friend handles the friendship and maybe just the way the friend is kind of a self-centered person.
Yes. All right. So should we go through?
Yes.
So I wrote kind of like here's the other thing. I wrote a shorter version that is if you're open to having a phone call about this, because again, I do think this is big enough that it probably a phone call would be ideal versus saying all of this over text,
Right.
which I wrote out.
If she wants to go there, if she cares enough to do it. Right.
Yeah. If you care to kind of be like, hey, let's just establish what this friendship is or not, or just to kind of flush that out. So I'll go first. This part I'm realizing wasn't exactly true, but I wrote, I appreciate your honesty in our conversations about deciding not to come to our wedding. I realize I haven't really expressed my true feelings about this with you. I'm still really hurt. I felt like it was more about your good time than being there to celebrate us on a meaningful moment in our lives. And then the short version is, I would love to talk this through on a call, but as of now, if I'm being honest, I'm not super eager to move forward with plans.
Okay.
That's the short version. If she wants to go there over the text and just let it all out in there, she can add, it seems like maybe we have different expectations for our friendship. I thought celebrating big moments together and being there for each other was important. And right now it seems like it's more about having a good time together when we can conveniently squeeze it in. I don't think we're on the same page with friendship expectations right now. So if she wants to put it all out there in text, she can add that second part. If she just kind of wants to be like, hey, I'm disappointed, let's chat about it, I think she can leave that out and do that more like on a phone call.
I like the text a lot, especially the first part. My only issue with the second part is that I do feel like she doesn't actually care if the friend comes. She almost wants the friend to be like lying to her more. I think she's more of like a respect thing.
Yeah, when I said I appreciate your honesty, like she doesn't appreciate her honesty.
Right.
I thought that would be a good entry point into like, and now I'm going to be honest.
nice little compliment sandwich. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like it. To me, it almost sounds like she wants the friend to come to the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the question. Like, can she accept that this is like a casual friendship?
Yeah.
And I think maybe why she is angry is because the friend is calling out, like, this is a casual friendship. And she wasn't on that page. She was on the page of like, I want you at a meaningful moment in my life.
I think she almost like does. To me, it's like she doesn't even want her the meaningful moment.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to know how the meat is made.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's almost like if your texts were honest, like if a guy, you know what I mean? Like if a guy, if you had a great first date and then a guy asked you on a second date and you had another date that night.
Right. You wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't say I have another date tonight. You would
I'm
say
hoping that one's better than ours, so I'm going to hold off.
Right. Like you wouldn't, it's not about like, it's an issue that he has another date. It's more like, it's almost like there's like a lack of respect almost of the person's feelings.
All right. So let me hear what you wrote.
Okay. Hi, I've been thinking about it and I wanted to tell you, I felt hurt by the way you messaged me about not coming to the wedding. I totally understand if you couldn't make it, but it really felt like you were downplaying the significance of a huge day for me that I've spent so much time and energy planning, particularly by calling the idea of going a big old thumbs down.
Yeah.
I just felt like you could have used a softer tone and less bluntness when turning down an invitation to one of the biggest days of my life. Again, totally fine that you can't attend, but in the future, please try to be more mindful of your words as they hurt my feelings. In terms of California, not sure what our plans are, but let me know when you're in town. And if we can make it work, would love to see you.
Okay. I like the first part because I do think you hit the nail on the head with like, it was probably more about the tone, the big old thumbs down, like you said. So I do like that. I think in the end, she thinks she doesn't want to see her. So it seems like there's this dance of like niceties versus honesty. And even in the response back, which I like, you're still kind of doing that dance of like, I'll see if I can make it work, but she already told us she doesn't want to see her.
Well, I think she's texting her the way she wants to be texted in
Right.
niceties. Like she wanted to be texted about no to her wedding in niceties by saying, can't make it, would have loved to have been there. So the way that she wants to interact with this person is like respect. I think it's like more respectful.
She's modeling what
Yeah.
she would like to have received back.
Yes, which is like not a bluntness, not like, and if it works for me, I'll see you then. Cause like that's how I felt about you coming to my wedding.
Yes.
More like, okay, like I'm okay with the friendship of convenience, but I don't want you to be like, it feels I don't want to be spoken to disrespectfully or have my events or time spoken about.
Right.
Like to call something a big old thumbs down, that's what I would call like eating outside in 113-degree weather.
Right.
I would call that a big old thumbs down.
Right.
I wouldn't
Not
call like someone's
going to your wedding.
right, like the one of the
not
biggest
spending.
days of
Yeah.
someone's life, a big old thumbs down.
Totally. Yeah, no, you're right. But this is so interesting. This is almost more about like the level of honesty that they each want to have in this friendship. And I totally agree. The one friend is like at a 10 out of 10 on like brutal, rude honesty.
Right.
Nobody's going to want that. But where do you land? Like you almost have to, it's like she's communicating the way she wants. She's not getting that back from her. Yeah, I think it's time. Weddings tend to do this. They
Line in the sand. Yeah.
Yeah, it's time to figure out like if you're open to the type of friendship that she wants to have. Maybe you are. Maybe what you're not open to is like the type of communication that she wants to have.
Yeah, that's possible. Like you just don't appreciate the way she speaks to you. Or maybe like the self-centeredness is sort of becoming more obvious and less tolerable as you get
Right.
older.
Yeah, when things start to be like really meaningful and you're having these moments in your life that are more than just about a good time. Yeah, this is interesting. I hope she can introspect a little bit about how to move forward with this and what type of friendship and if it's going to be worth it. Because if this is her personality, this is going to happen again. If she's like, picks a restaurant and the girl doesn't like the restaurant, she's like, oh, this restaurant's a big old thumbs down. Like that's going to start to get annoying after a while, you know?
Yeah. And I think this friendship is kind of on its last legs anyway. It's like she already says like they're not the most compatible. They don't live in the same state.
Right.
They're not making the effort for the big events. Like what else? What's like left? If you're looking at like what's the substance here that's left, it's like it seems like most of it's gone, which is like the convenience again of being in the same town at the same place. But
yeah. And look, if you're okay with it, I mean, you don't have to spend a whole weekend with her. Maybe you just want to grab a lunch with her when she's in Northern California.
Yeah. Do what's convenient for you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You could say, if you want to come up here, you know, I'm happy to grab a lunch if that's but if you don't want to spend an entire weekend, you know, showing her around town, then don't do that. So it's again, I've said this and I say this a lot, when someone doesn't make effort in your relationship, whatever relationship that is, it can be very hurtful, but it also gives you the green light to not have to make that same effort back with them.
Yeah, in some ways it's great. It lets you off the hook of like someone like when someone cancels on you and you don't have to cancel on them, but you wanted to. It's like sort of the best of all scenarios.
Right. Totally. So yeah, do what works for you. And if this is convenient and you guys have a good time together, go for it. And if not, it seems like maybe it's reached its expiration, which is hard, but give us an update.
Yes, would love one. All right, let's do a Betchicist. Do you want to read it?
All right, I will read this. Hi, ladies. First off, I adore your podcast. Dr. Naomi, your calm and logical takes are life goals. And Jordana, your relatable and down-to-earth vibes make me feel so seen. Thank you for everything you do. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Love it.
Now on to my oversharing story. I thought it would fit right in as Jordana just got a new puppy. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 4 years and things are starting to get serious. We talk about our future together all the time. Here's the problem. I have a dog, a very lovable, well-trained, hypoallergenic 3-year-old golden doodle. I knew my partner was not a dog person when we first started dating, but I didn't let his opinion stop me from adopting. I got my dog Ollie and it was one of the best decisions ever. Fast forward to now. We've started talking about me moving in with him, but he's made it clear the dog isn't part of the deal, like not even negotiable. My mom has even taken his side, saying dogs are a huge deal and he didn't sign up for this. This crushed me. My parents also are not wanting to take him in as they are retired and don't want that responsibility at this time. I don't want to give up my dog at all. I don't want to resent my boyfriend for making me give up my dog, but I also don't want my boyfriend to resent me for forcing this huge responsibility onto him. How do I navigate this? Am I being unreasonable for not wanting to give up my dog? Is there a way to compromise on something like this? Thanks so much for reading. P.S. I attached an image of my pup to help you understand what I'm dealing with. He is very
cute.
Very cute. He has those little human eyes.
Yeah, I feel like golden doodles look like people for some reason.
Wow, this is really a tough one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm left with a lot of questions. Like, I don't understand why she can't continue to be the only one taking care of the dog while living with the boyfriend. It seems kind of strange.
You feed, pay for the vet bills, you buy the dog food, you take them out, arrange for the dog sitter.
On the boyfriend's part, it seems like almost like a little like cruel to be like, and get rid of the dog that you absolutely love and adore and like have raised since they were puppies, since they're 3 years old.
Yeah. I feel like that's not an option. Like, I don't know anyone. I mean, I don't want to say this, but like,
I mean, if the dog were like biting the boyfriend or
Right.
like not trained, or he was worried it was going to pee all over his stuff, and like the dog was just like, you know, attacking things, like I think that would be a different story. That's not at all what she's saying. She's saying well-trained, doesn't shed. Like, I think there's something else going on here.
I agree. Maybe you could ask him, because what he's asking you to do would be like a huge grief process. I mean, I have dogs. You have a puppy. You haven't had him for 3 years, but like that would be a huge grief process to give away your dog that you raised from a puppy for
Seemingly no reason.
I would like to dig in and find out if you can ask him, like, what specific aspects of this are worrying him.
Right.
It's not the shedding. It's not having the house have poop. It's even if you guys want to go on vacation together, if that's his issue, like you're still dealing with that now, even if he's not living with the dog.
I mean, I guess he doesn't like them. Fine. Right.
Yeah. He comes home. It probably jumps on him maybe, or like, maybe it's on the couch with them, or it tries to get in the bed. That's an issue that I've seen a lot. The dog sleeping in the bed versus not sleeping in the bed. That I can even see, but you can work around that. All right. We're going to crate train him at night, so he's not going to be in the bed anymore. There are things that you can do.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It just seems like a weird, hard line for someone you love to like move in with you, to be like, and again, she's had the dog for 3 years. It's not, I can understand this more where she's like, I want to get a dog. And he was like, not if we're living together, but she's already had the dog for 3 years. I almost wonder if he's trying to like push her away.
Make an excuse. Like why they can't move in together.
Right. Cause you would think like, okay, I don't like cats, but like if Mike had a cat and then we were moving in together, I wouldn't be like, you must get rid of the cat. I would be like, I don't really want to have anything to do with like taking care of the cat. I'm probably not going to be playing with the cat. I'm not like, I don't really like cats, but as long as I don't have to do anything, it's fine.
Yeah. And even the mom getting involved, I think maybe is an indication of like the mom's fear that this is going to end.
Right.
Like it seems like maybe there's some fear that this is going to end over this thing. And it really shouldn't. If you guys are in love and you're going to spend the rest of your lives together and he loves you and he found his person and you found your person, it's not going to end over a hypoallergenic, well-trained, non-shedding dog.
Right. Yeah. It seems a little like he's trying to keep you at arm's length to me.
Yeah. I hate to say that with such little information because she's probably going to freak out. But if there's more to it, I'd love to hear it.
Relationships are about compromise. Like, I'm not going to say like, okay, like the relationship is over, it's doomed, he hates you. But I do think that like part of what makes a good partner is someone who's like willing to work with you.
Right. Here are my fears. How can we move through those? My fear is the dog in the bed. My fear is not being able to vacation. My fear is, okay, let's troubleshoot those instead of just like no. And even someone who ever says like non-negotiable, just those words about being able to move in together with this
Not part of the
animal that
deal.
like
Yeah.
you're going to go, like he's basically pushing you to say yes and go through like a huge grief process. It's not that kind of a thing to do to someone that you really love, is to push them into grief over this dog that, like you said, it's not biting, it's not urinating in the house.
Right. I wonder if he's having like his own commitment, like fears.
Yeah, they've been dating for 4 years and are now, and things are starting to get serious. So like, I don't know if they're very young, maybe that makes sense. But if they're not, you think things would be serious 4 years in. So maybe it's the starting to get serious part that he's resisting.
Yeah. Something is not being said here.
Right. Yeah. I'm sorry to say this, but it does sound like this is good practice for compromise and moving in together. I don't think she's going to go back to him and be like, Dr. Naomi and Jordana said that you're not serious.
Right. No, I think you say what is specifically about the dog is
Right.
like so feels like so intolerable for you. Like
what are the exact behaviors that
Yeah.
you're concerned about and how can we troubleshoot them?
Yeah.
Or honestly, asking him like, do you have other concerns aside from the dog?
About the relationship.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because also like imagine she gets rid of the dog and then he breaks up with her.
Yes.
Like that
Like
would
they're
be
not
like
getting
awful.
married either.
Right.
Doesn't sound like.
Would you give up a dog for a guy that's not even your husband? That's not even asked you to marry him?
Yeah, it's true. I will just share a personal story that just came to mind, which is when I first started dating Jeff, I had my dog Ralph, who was like my best friend.
Yeah, I remember.
Like the cutest, like he was my single life buddy. And I would spend a lot of time at his house and I would leave Ralph with mom at her house. And nobody took care of him like I took care of him. I think he was, I was just like falling in love and like, probably being selfish. And, to this day, I mean, he passed away now, but like towards the end of his life, I thought about that and I felt regretful, like I was like, I shouldn't have done that to him. Like that wasn't nice. That was me, just being selfish and being in this honeymoon phase where I'm like, all right, you stay here. I'm going to my new boyfriend's house and like, I'll be back when I'm back. I mean, I didn't give him up, but I also like wasn't leaving him in a place where he was being cared for the way I cared for him. And I still feel guilty about that.
You put your relationship a little bit ahead of his well-being, maybe is your shed your shame.
My shame.
I guess.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
I totally did.
Which is understandable, I think. Like, I think people newly in love, that's sort of like you're just in that haze.
Yeah, in the haze.
Well, what if Jeff was like, okay, when we're going to move in together, like, dog's not part of the deal?
He actually didn't. It's funny. He didn't want him. And I was like, that's not like, once we moved into it was our place, I was like, he's coming. Like, and he didn't really want him. And I was like, no, we're doing this. And he's coming. And he was like, okay, fine.
Right, because like he values the relationship, or even if it's not his favorite.
It wasn't his favorite. And then he grew to love him so much also. That's the other part. Like, I don't know, maybe he won't, but he didn't really want him. And then he was like, they were best buds by the end.
Don't let this guy wear all the pants in the relationship.
Yeah, I agree. You can stand up for this. And if he really wants to make it work with you and he loves you, he'll compromise. This is not like he's allergic or there's some major thing that we can see from here.
Yeah. And I've gotten questions sort of like this on You Up. And again, I think it's different if the dog is like being physically violent or like just generally like
whatever,
really
constantly.
Difficult. Yeah. Something like that. Like it doesn't sound like that's what's going on here.
Yeah, agree. Our next segment is something a bit different, sponsored by American Home Shield. Being a first-time homeowner can be difficult for a lot of reasons. Just finding the right home for you can be tough enough in the first place, and then you have to keep it all running smoothly. How did our parents make it look so easy? So in this segment, Planting Roots will be answering your questions around some of the more difficult moments that come with being a homeowner. Leave your stress at the door and we'll help you unpack.
Hi, Jordana and Dr. Naomi. Thank you for all your great advice and past and present. I'm reaching out with a part triggered, part intention seeking scenario that I could really use some help with. I am 30 and my husband is 34. We live in a large New England city for several years, both have great jobs and are expecting our first baby in a couple of weeks. Long story short, we tried to buy a house in the suburbs where we grew up outside of the city and just kept coming up short. We were either outbid, the houses needed tons of work, which we felt we couldn't do while raising a baby, or the monthly payments just wouldn't fit into our budget with the insane daycare costs and our combined student loan payments. Our city apartment was an old 4th floor, 1-bedroom, and we had to get out quickly before the baby comes. So we gave up our search and found a condo rental in our desired town. During the move and in the weeks to follow, several people have made comments to us about renting that really sting and trigger me. One, because I am so disappointed with the outcome of our search, and two, because many of these people are from a different generation and seem to be making judgments based on a reality that no longer exists. For example, at a family party, my husband's uncle asked where we ended up moving, and we told him about the condo we're renting. He replied, you have to get into the market and build equity. Renting is just throwing money down the drain. This made me so frustrated. This uncle is in his 70s and bought his house for $100,000 in the 90s. He's done almost no work on it, and it's currently valued at $750,000. I wanted to scream. We know we should be buying. We tried. There's nothing left for us. At a friend's bridal shower, her mom asked where we moved, and I explained the condo rental. She asked where we wanted to buy, and I said I wasn't sure because we really need to pay down our student loans before buying. She said, yeah, that's why I pushed my son to go to trade school. He and his wife bought a nice little starter home in blank, insert the town we also outbid in. This one stung too. I'm in a field where you cannot be licensed without a college degree, and I really love what I do. I guess my question is twofold. How triggered should I be by these types of comments that seem to insinuate we have made bad decisions? And more importantly, can you help me with an intention to focus more on the positive things we have going for us, like a healthy pregnancy, secure jobs, and a strong marriage? I get so stuck in my head thinking that we did everything right, went to college, got good grades, got good jobs, and worked very hard, only to still feel like the lifestyle our parents had is out of reach. Sincerely, a Betch wishing for the American dream.
Yeah, I find these comments pretty triggering. I also don't think you need to share that you're renting. I think you could just say, here's where we live now.
Right. I guess she probably feels so insecure about it that she feels the need to get ahead of it, or just. And I would probably do the same thing. Like, this is where we live. This is why we live here. Blah blah blah. Like, we're trying to do this other thing. Like, this isn't. We're not like happy here. We want to be like moving into it. I could see why she's in her head feels like she needs to qualify everything she's doing.
Yeah, I can too. I'm just saying, going forward, if this conversation makes you uncomfortable, you can just say, we just moved into a new condo in the area that we're this particular area, and we love it. And if they want to be that person that's like, do you rent or did you buy?
Right. Like, fuck off.
Yeah. Right. Like, who's going to ask that? And if they do, you can either choose to be honest and then go down your little rabbit hole of feeling like you need to justify yourself, or you could say, I just rather not talk about that.
Right. There's like so many memes about this exact scenario, like, like boomers talking about, the house they got for like $10 in 1950. What used to be like $1 million is like not like it's just worth a totally different amount of money now.
Right. Like, they're like a financial wizard.
Born on third, think they had a triple.
Right.
Right.
Yes. So I could see why that's triggering. And even the other comment by the mom about the trade school thing, it's like, well, we didn't do that. So
too late for us.
Right? Yes. Like, I don't know what you're trying to say. If this conversation is probably making you feel better about your child's choice.
Right.
To go to trade school.
So it's like, tell your child that, like, say it behind my back.
Right. Well, I'm so glad my child didn't do what you guys did. Otherwise they'd be you and you'd be them. And that would be terrible.
Right.
Like, thanks.
You just say like, well, that ship has sailed for us.
Right.
You know what you should do? You should ask them to borrow money. They'll stop talking to you about the neighborhood. Be like, we really wanted to buy. Everything we wanted was just completely out of reach for us financially. Is it possible that you could loan us the rest of the money and then we can build the equity that you keep talking about?
Yes, totally. That would be a great response. Yeah, I really get this. Here's the thing. I promise that when eventually you get this house or you figure out, maybe you pay off your loans and maybe it'll take another 10 years or however long it's going to take. You'll pay off your loans, you'll get your house. And then within a month, you're going to focus yourself on some other thing that you don't have that you think you should have.
Right.
Whatever that might be. Right now, and she knows it, I think she has a healthy marriage. She has a baby on the way. They're in the town that they want to live in. And they have a spacious condo that's going to give them plenty of room for their little family. So right now, your life is great.
Yeah.
It's just the down the line that you're worrying about in terms of like, are we going to have equity? But like right now, you have pretty much everything that you want.
Yeah. I totally agree. Also, I think it's kind of nice that she's renting first in the town she wants to live in. She can actually see what it's like to live in the town before making that big of a commitment.
Yes.
Which, I mean, how many emails do we get here of people who like move somewhere, they thought it was going to be one thing and it's the entire other, but they've already purchased the house.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely a benefit to, feeling out and understanding your neighborhood, understanding what the different neighborhoods pros and cons are, like getting to relax in your own time. And also in terms of building equity, like a year or two difference is not really gonna like change if you zoom out. I feel like I've talked about this with like kids and fertility and stuff, but I do feel like if you zoom out, things are never as big of a immediacy as they feel like they should be.
Right. Especially when you're in a bubble of comparison with your friends and other people and being outbid and this, guy that went to trade school and he's better off. And, so yeah, I agree that I think for now, it seems like everything is perfectly wonderful. You even get to live in the town you want to live in. It's just the down the line thing, which I have a feeling if you guys are both professionals, once you pay off your loans, you're going to be able to make some moves. It's just taking a little bit more time than you had hoped. And you must have some money scraped together because you're making offers on houses. So that's good too. Like you have all the ingredients. The cake's just not ready to go in the oven just yet. But the beauty is you're getting to live the life that you want either way. So the intention that I wrote for her is, we're living a beautiful life in a town, home, and jobs we love. There will always be more to seek if we allow it. So you can't have it all. You can't have the husband and the baby and the job and the house right now. You can have the husband and the baby and the job and a beautiful home filled with love. The house that you own will be the next thing, and just patience.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
But I totally get this dilemma, but this is good growth for you because if you can just lean into this and accept that right now, everything's fine. And God willing, you'll have decades more to figure out your retirement and your,
Yeah, there's always something, of course.
Totally. And, and I'm not a financial advisor and I know it's better to buy than rent, but most of these places have enormous property taxes, and I don't know how much you're paying for your rental, but you're throwing away the money that you're spending on your property tax, and nobody really talks that much about that.
That's another great point, is that it's not always a better financial move to buy rather than rent. I think people assume that, especially like the older boomer type people always assume that, but because maybe that's how it was in their day, but like the times are different. These people aren't living in the reality of buying a home in 2025.
Right, where you have lots of other expenses that are thrown away when you own a home.
Maintenance, they're not going to have to do any, enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Add up all the maintenance costs that you would have to be paying, the property taxes that you're not having to pay.
Actually, she's about to have a new baby. Like, you're going to have so much work to do that you're going to be happy you're not having to figure out your landscaping and your things that are breaking down. And
yeah, you call someone and they come fix it. There are a lot of benefits.
Especially in the first year of being a new parent.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Enjoy this.
Yes. All right. Good luck. It's going to be okay. So thank you guys for writing in, and thanks again to American Home Shield for partnering with us for this segment. Taking care of your home can be a hassle, But American Home Shield makes it easier to keep your appliances and home system running smoothly. Don't worry, be warranty. Visit ahs.com/oversharing to get 20% off any plan today and to see the promo details. That's ahs.com/oversharing. See ahs.com/contracts for coverage details, including limit amounts, fees, limitations, and exclusions. All right, let's do some triggers. Our first triggered is a voicemail. Let's roll the tape.
Hi, Jordana and Dr. Naomi. I'm calling in with a triggered. I am extremely biased, so I am really not sure how triggered I'm allowed to be in this situation. I live with two roommates in a small apartment, and one of them is just very frustrating to live with. She never takes out the trash, never empties the dishwasher, doesn't vacuum. She's the kind of roommate that just seems to think that magical cleaning fairy comes in every day and makes everything spotless. So one morning I was pouring coffee and I just reached for a mug and grabbed the first one that I saw and started pouring coffee. And we've also lived in this apartment for about 2 years, all three of us. And this is the first time she said anything about it, but I grabbed a mug and poured my coffee, and halfway through she turns to me and says, "Can you please not use that mug ever again, because it's my favorite mug and I like to have it readily available to me." I have coffee every single morning, and she never has coffee or tea in the morning. And I just said, "Okay, sure. I didn't know this was your favorite mug." And she said, "That's okay. Just please don't do it again." And I just thought this was really weird. I feel like if you have a possession that you don't want people using, you should keep it in your room or something like that. It just felt really weird to me that she was saying this after 2 years of living together. So yeah, maybe I'm overreacting, but it's been a few weeks and I still think about it every time I see that mug, which I haven't used since. So thank you both for everything you do. I love the podcast. Best part of my week. Looking forward to hearing what you think. Thanks.
This is such a roommate thing.
I feel like these roommate dynamics are like a breeding ground for passive aggressive communication.
Yeah, because you have to, because you live with them. So there's really, if you say something, you have to see them every day.
Yeah. It's really hard. It's either going to be like a big confrontation or it's just going to be these like subtle little things. I could see why she's pissed. Because the beginning of the email is important, that she does like all the cleaning, and she's kind of like, "You don't carry your weight here. The least you can do is let me use your frickin' coffee mug that you're not even planning on using.
Right.
Let alone like thanking me or cleaning or doing any of that." That's like a small gesture that you could do to show appreciation for everything that I do around here.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I think the roommate like has sensed the tension coming from the listener. Like, and she's feeling like, again, I don't think she's saying anything, but when you're like that resentful, it comes out in ways that like aren't, again, they're not direct. She's probably not saying, "And you never clean around here, and you think there's a magical cleaning fairy." Like she's saying that to us, but she's just probably just doing it with like a pissed off vibe that the roommate is picking up on.
Yep.
And so the roommate's probably not like feeling like an attitude towards her. And then when she uses the mug, is kind of using that as like the only thing she has because it's the only thing she does.
Right.
And that's mine. Like everyone becomes just a little bit more passive aggressive. And I almost think she should should leverage this to like be more direct with the roommate, because the roommate's being direct with her. She should be more direct about like what she would like her to do around the apartment. I don't think the roommate needs to keep her mug in her room. I think the request itself is like fine. I guess if you're like it's like fine. If that's like your thing, you really like you're obsessed with that mug, it's your mug, you want it to be available when you are. Fine, you can keep it in the thing, but also like she should also know where you're coming from. Like it's okay to make like a kind of a bold request if you're also getting bold requests.
Right. It's like the other email. It's kind of like we have to both either we're both going to lay it on the table and be honest about how we feel, or we're going to do this dance. And maybe some people prefer to do the dance, but this dance is not working for them.
And it's been 2 years that they live there, and she has
Right.
never said anything
Never said it.
before. So to me,
Yes.
it's more about like, well, like you can't use my mug because
she's probably kind of like you said, I totally agree with you. I think she's probably giving her an attitude because she's not carrying her weight. And as much as I totally agree that it's ridiculous that if she wasn't going to use it in that moment, what I would say is, hey, that's my favorite mug. If you use it, can you please just make sure to wash it out right away and put it right back?
Right.
Or even if she wants to say, I just think it's a little crazy, but like, don't use that ever again. Like it's a mug.
Please
don't
use it ever again. Right. Yeah, no, it's very passive aggressive. I agree. That's why I think you guys are having these like passive aggressive probably interactions when you should just have it out in like a mature dialogued way of like, and I would separate it from the mug thing.
Yeah.
But I think maybe like a couple days later, I think you could say like, can I talk about something that's just like been bothering me? Like, I feel a little resentful because I do feel like I'm the one always cleaning up. The dishes are out, and like I don't want to be like passive aggressive or get irritated, but it kind of irritates me when I feel like I'm the only one contributing around here.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this and you realize that we're right and that you have been giving a little bit of a passive aggressive attitude, I think owning that would be great. Like entry point into having this conversation. Like, I know that I've probably had like a little bit of an attitude lately, or like, I know that I haven't been as friendly as I used, something, if that's the truth, and you can own it and be like, I think I'm holding a little bit of resentment about that, I'm always the one vacuuming, loading the dishwasher, like wiping down the counters or whatever the things are that you're doing. And I'd really appreciate if you could help out more in that area because I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to hold this in.
Yeah. And you could say, and it's okay. Just like don't do the dishes ever again.
Right. Yes. I don't know. This is just my take. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm kind of like, if you're living in a roommate situation with a shared kitchen,
right,
you have to share your things.
I agree.
If you buy a food and that's your intended dinner for the night, and if someone eats it, it's gone, that's different. Like write your name on it. I'm planning to eat this later. Please don't eat it. But like a reusable mug.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of ridiculous. That's why I'm saying I don't think it's about the mug.
Yeah.
I don't think it's about the mug. I think this is the only thing she has to like give you some sass back.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and you use my mug. Like, if you're going to be like giving me attitude, like, don't use my. I think this is like in her head. I don't think she was like, I need the mug to be readily available. I think she was like, this woman has been giving me attitude for months and weeks, and like, if she's going to give me attitude, then don't use my mug.
Right. It's a little bit of like she's trying to take the power back.
Yeah,
I think a little bit, and the listener feels like she has the power because she's the one like doing all the stuff. So she has that over her head, and it's like ridiculous, but this mug is what she has over your head. That's my mug. It's just interesting. Human dynamics. They're so like the ways that we can communicate and feel like empowered. And so she's just feeling empowered over the ownership of this mug. But if you want to be the bigger person, call out the elephant in the room. And I can pretty much guarantee you're right, that she's been giving her like subtle attitude for quite some time, and she's probably tired of it.
I agree. All right. But I would say this is triggering. I'd give it a 5.
Yeah. I give it
like,
yeah.
She's like shamed for using a mug that she always uses by a woman who doesn't clean anything up. It's like annoying.
That also, there's something, you use the word shame, and there is something that does elicit a feeling of shame about like using someone else's stuff and then having them like tell you, no, you like, we're not that close, or like, I'm not sharing that with you, or like, you're not entitled to that.
You took something that wasn't yours. Yeah.
Right. It just feels a little bit like you're just trying to put me in the doghouse for some reason, because that's probably how she feels. You're right. So yeah, I agree. I'll give this a 5, especially that's fine as long as you don't ever do it again. Like, yeah. the wording on this was a little harsh as well.
Yeah, you guys could use like a non-passive aggressive airing of grievances. Just let it out in a respectful, do it when you're not triggered by her not loading the dish or leaving a mug out or leaving a dish out. Just do it it's like hard. It's so hard to do because you're like, do I really want to get into this with this person? And then like, if it doesn't go well, I have to see you all day. But like, if you clear the air respectfully, your whole living situation will just be like so much more pleasant.
Yeah, especially if you can start off by owning that maybe you've had a little bit of a chip on your shoulder lately. So she doesn't feel crazy either. Then you're kind of owning something and you're asking for something. I think roommates should have like a built-in monthly check-in.
100%. Yeah. Like this is the most intimate. It's like, it's a crazy relationship where you're just like living with someone that you can't, it's not like a partner where you have the level of intimacy where you can kind of like call someone out and move on or like.
Yeah. And there's like a legally binding
contract,
arrangement that you like can't move out for a certain period of time. And if you do, it's very expensive. It's a big commitment. So I do think that before people move in together, they should be like, look, roommates are, there's going to be conflict. I want you to be open with me. I'm going to be open with you. Maybe we could sit down like once a month and just talk about how we're doing with bills and cleaning and noise and, what all the things that roommates deal with. If you meet someone, what are the expectations about them spending time here? Like communication, overt communication prevents things like this. So yeah.
Agreed.
It's a good thing. It's going to bring it all up to the surface.
Okay. Let's do one more trigger. Do you want to read it?
I will read our last triggered. Hey, Jordana and Dr. Naomi, longtime listener, first-time writer. Here's my triggered scenario. I, 36 male, brought my girlfriend a beautiful and expensive bouquet of flowers, which included a $50 vase. The flowers were still fresh when we were about to leave on a 3-week trip to Europe. I asked my friend.
Must be nice.
Yeah, must be nice. I thought the same thing. I asked my friend, 36 male, who lives in the same city, whether he and his wife would want to pick up the flowers so they could enjoy them in their apartment while my girlfriend and I were away. He said yes, picked up the flowers in the vase in which they were delivered.
Probably delivered them to his girlfriend as if they were
brought
from
them.
him.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Sure. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
2 for 1. About 1 week after I returned from the trip, I texted my friend and asked when I could pick up the vase. He responded that he and his wife had been decluttering their apartment recently and that they had donated the vase with a batch of their unwanted household items. He stated this so matter-of-factly. He did not offer to pay for the vase, which cost about $50, nor did he even apologize. I responded to the text with a passive-aggressive, okay, but was fuming on the inside. Is it just me, or is this a totally insane thing to have done? How triggered can I be? Waste a vase.
Okay. I have to say, and don't be mad, listener, is that I kind of assume when there are flowers that the vase just kind of comes with the flowers. Like you have to buy the vase because it puts it in there. Maybe that's not the case. So I could see a situation where I did the same thing. Like, I don't think it was obvious that you pay an extra $50 for the vase.
Right. And it's funny because you're like, don't be mad. Like I love our male listeners. So I don't want to hurt your feelings. But I do think, he says, is this a totally insane thing to do? So I'll say no. I will start with, I don't think it's a totally, of the insane things that we've heard, I don't think it's totally insane. I think he probably thought, like when you order, it sounds like you went to the store maybe and picked up this and picked out a vase and like paid an extra $50 for it. But most people, I do think sometimes assume that it just comes with it. Like the clear glass vase that you get.
Yeah.
I've probably thrown out 10 of those in my life.
Same.
Gotten rid of 10 of those clear. So it sounds like it wasn't one of just those clear glass vases, but totally insane. No, I can see why you're peeved. I think next time you should say, hey, by the way, please don't get rid of I'm going to come back for the vase. A friend of mine brought over some flowers that she had for like an event. She was coming over. She brought it. it was one of those clear vases. And I was kind of, I did say like, do you want this back? Because my intention was like,
Right.
probably not. And she was like, yeah, like if you think of it, great. If not, no problem,
Right.
and I still have it. So like, I didn't go out of my way to return it. If she wants it, she'll ask me for it. But like, yeah, if a bulk, if like a decluttering came in the next couple of weeks, I'd probably get rid of it. Yeah.
I think
I don't think he knew it was $50, that it was worth money.
I agree. Or that you necessarily were going to come get it back. I think this is one of those things that's like annoying, but not really someone's like intention to. I guess he could have said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you wanted it back.
Yes.
I accidentally threw it out. How much was it? I'm happy to pay for it."
Right. Yeah. That, or even just, I am so sorry. I had no idea you wanted it back. I feel really badly, or whatever. Even if he doesn't offer to pay for it, which would be nice. I think what's also bugging him is it was so nonchalant. Like, yeah, we got rid of that. Obviously, if he's asking for it back, he cared about it. And I think apologizing would be in order. I'd feel bad if that woman did come back and she was like, oh, I actually decided I want this. And I'm like, oh, wow, I have no idea where that is right now.
Yeah. I would feel bad too. No good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah.
Right.
I know.
Should have just let those flowers die in your apartment alone.
I know. I think in some ways, and look, I love that they got loved all the way from the beginning to the end, but also it probably wouldn't have felt good for him to throw away beautiful live flowers that were still freshly in bloom, to put them right in the trash. And you can't leave them there because you'll come back and your apartment's going to stink after 3 weeks. So it was probably a little bit self-serving for him to have them removed. So we talked about a bunch of months ago, like the guilt of throwing things in the garbage.
Yeah.
So he saved you the guilt of having to throw those in the garbage when they were really expensive.
What is your girlfriend doing that she got an expensive bouquet of flowers with a $50 vase and then got taken to Europe for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Sounds like she's having a great month. Let this one go.
Yeah, seriously. It does sound like you guys are having a good time. I wouldn't judge him on this. I think he just probably didn't realize that it was an expensive vase. So I'd forgive and forget.
Yeah. I wouldn't spend too much time dwelling on this one.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I get it. He probably thought to himself, I'll have this vase, and the next time I buy her flowers, I can always put them in there, and it'll have maybe it probably matched their apartment, or like it was something that the vase was like part of the gift to her, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
I could see why all of that's annoying, but I can also see once you give over a vase of flowers, I think it's kind of, unless you specifically request, assume it's gone.
I agree. Rules of etiquette according to Oversharing. If you want the vase and you give someone your flowers, you must ask for it.
Yes.
I'd give it like a 3, though.
Yeah, I was going to give it a 3 because I'm sure he gave thought to picking it out and what color, and that he would use it down the line. So yeah.
And he could have been more apologetic about throwing it out. So.
All right. That's it. You heard it here. That's our time.
Great work today.